What's up, guys? I'm Crystal Lee Naomi, aka Jasmine Borders on Tyler Perry's Sisters. Be sure to subscribe to the Haves and the Have-Nots review for not only reviews on the Haves and the Have-Nots, but also on Sisters. And while you're at it, give your girl a follow on Instagram at Crystal Lee Naomi. And I'll see you every Wednesday at 9, only on BET.
All right, Sisters fans, hope you're doing well. And we are going to discuss a question that I don't know if I've ever done a video on, and if I did, well, it's kind of irrelevant now because I feel it's a great thing to bring up the subject once more since we've moved a bit closer to the, are Andi and Gary actually going to get married? Andi, Gary, let's get married. Yeah, that's a tongue twister right there. So before going forward in the video, please hit the like button, so thumbs up. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description box below. And at the last time I've checked the Sisters Facebook group, my gosh, I can't believe how fast this freaking group has grown. And if I remember correctly, we only got 2 more episodes left. Yeah, so the group itself is damn near at 125,000 members. I've accepted the fact that this Facebook group is going to outdo my YouTube channel in regards to members versus subscribers. So I think that's pretty damn cool, yet surprising. And yeah, so make sure you join the group. We only got 2 episodes left, so hopefully we can hit like 150,000 by the end of the month. Also, hit the bell notification icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post new content to the channel. And please hit subscribe, especially if you are a frequent viewer of the channel. Currently, the channel watch time in regards to the percentage of subscribers who watch the channel is only 31%. Trying to get that up to 40 by the end of the month. So once again, if you are a frequent watcher of the channel, hit subscribe. Now, we know that Sistas Season 3 is happening. It not only was it renewed, correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say that only 3 or 4 episodes into Season 2, Viacom/BET renewed Sistas for Season 3. And Season 3 was filmed a month or so ago, so we know Season 3 is going to happen. And one of the biggest questions regarding, the fans is, what's next? I mean, I honestly feel like the reason for many of the storylines kind of being redundant, repetitive, or dragging is the fact that, okay, we're closing up Season 2, but we have an entirely new season coming up in the near future. There's no release date for Season 3, but I think we can estimate that it might come on at some point during maybe like late summer or something like that. Where exactly can you go from here? I mean, with the Andi and Gary storyline, it goes from an affair to where we are in the present, where Gary allegedly, confirmed that the whole divorce papers with Jasmine went through, yet she's still seeking vengeance. I want to go out on a limb here and say that, maybe she actually did sign the paperwork and everything. Her plans with Morris were exposed, which could explain why she's so gung-ho on, I have nothing to live for, I don't care anymore, because she literally has nothing to live for. I mean, damn shame, because don't her and Gary have like 3 kids or something, one with special needs, so that kind of sucks, but whatever. I'm not saying I want Andi and Gary to be married, so I don't want to start a debate in the comments. I mean, you can if you want to. Honestly, don't care. It's like, I don't really care about these two, and the fact that I've been over Andi for quite a while now, even though she's fine as hell. It's just the fact that Andi going to do what Andi going to do. Now, I still don't fully trust Aaron, but he actually makes a solid point when telling Karen, hey, I mean, it's your friend, so you can do what you want, but Andi's grown. I mean, she's going to choose to love who she chooses to love. So, there's really not much you and your friends can do to convince her otherwise. And the way I look at it is, Andi, do you think she's going to marry Gary because of the fact that she loves Gary, or because she just wants to be married? I mean, when you look at everything Gary has put her through, and I'm not, absolving. Hang on, let me Google that. I'm sorry. I don't want to sound all fancy and wrong, but absolve. Set or declare, give absolution for a sin. Yeah, basically to absolve or erase any kind of crime or whatever. I'm not trying to make it seem like Andi is fully the victim because, and I'm not trying to victim shame here, but at the same time, it's like you almost lost everything because of this man. Your friends and other points of wisdom in your life have advised you to stay away from him, yet you choose to call him, you choose to invite him over. You chose to keep that, I don't want to call it engagement, but promise ring, if you will. And now you are, quote unquote, accepting an engagement with some conditions. So it's like, it's at the point where Andi, well, even at the beginning, Andi, you did this to your own damn self. So I truly think that, you know, when you look at everything Andi has gone through with Gary, yet she still wants to go through with a relationship, a potential marriage. I honestly feel like Andi's just doing this to do it. I just feel like she truly doesn't believe she deserves better. And she'd rather have a man that treats her the way Gary does than a good man like a Paris or a Ben or hell, even a dude who's like the doorman of the freaking complex she lives in. I just feel like, what do people say? Stuck on stupid. That's kind of how I feel right now about Andi. It's just the fact that I honestly feel like she's just trying to fill a void. It's like, you know, what her and Karen were going back and forth about. You're just with Aaron to fill in the void left by Karen. And when she called her out for using Paris in the same fashion with Gary, I honestly feel like Gary, on the other hand, manipulative, his definition of love. Yeah, I feel like they do love each other. I just think their definitions of love are very different in how they show it and act. So I honestly couldn't tell you that these two don't love each other. I just don't think they have the same idea of what it means to be a healthy couple and a healthy relationship in love. That's how I look at it. But I just think that these two getting married will be a hot mess. I don't know if Tyler Perry would go through with an actual full-on wedding. I mean, when was the last time we've seen like a full-on well, technically we saw a full-on wedding in the Bruh series, but that was one of the worst things I've ever seen. Well, yeah, now that I think about it, when you look at different Tyler Perry movies and whatnot, there have been plenty of marriages. What was it? Meet the Browns, Family Reunion. Of course, in House of Pain, we had the double marriage of Calvin and Miranda and CJ and Janine. Okay, maybe that wasn't the best example. So, in any case, I just feel like these two, I could see them getting eloped because of the fact, those two just eloping, because there have been so many things that have happened between these two. Well, not these two in particular, but the people around them, like the sisters would try to intervene. Jasmine might try to pop up. Who knows, the FBI might bust into the wedding like they did at the end of season 1 when they were in the country. So I honestly think that these two getting married is an awful idea. It's like what's that saying? You don't know somebody until you live with them, or you don't really know someone until you live with them. I just really feel like there's so much baggage that Gary has, not to mention Andi, that these two will never fully unpack. It's like, you know, they'll always have luggage and laundry all over the floor, but nobody's trying to clean it up. That's why I feel like. So I feel like Gary might say, Gary is essentially a politician. He'll just say whatever it takes to seal the deal, win the election. But then after it's all said and done and he's won, he's going to go back and show his true roots. That's honestly what I think is going to happen. It's just like a fall from grace, where Grace saw the true side of her young man. Ashtray, bitch. That's what I think is going to happen. But yeah, just let me know your thoughts. And that's what, honestly, I feel like it's almost like a twisted Hallmark movie. You know, those movies like Christmas and all, where, a single parent, whether it be divorce or death, results in being a single parent, meets someone new, and then like they automatically get into a full-on relationship and eventually get married. And it's like, well, do we honestly get a realistic depiction of how kids feel about their single parent just instantly getting a new spouse? Sometimes there might be a little bit of friction, more often than not, it's the kid who falls in love with the new parent to be before their own parent does. Like, oh, there's some romance, but then something stupid happens that causes friction. But then the kid's like, but daddy, she was going to be my new mommy. And they get married. So that's why I really feel like sometimes there's that, and not as bad. Sisters isn't as bad as Assisted Living when it comes down to this, but there's a lot of show, well, tell instead of show. Like, why not see Jasmine and Gary's kids? We've never seen Gary's house. There are just so many things that come along with that. It's like, let's say if Jasmine does, well, Andi did give the police report. So let's say hypothetically Jasmine gets arrested or whatever. Then what happens to Gary's kids? Do they go to their grandparents? Well, I would say we know that Gary's mom is dead, but we know that Jasmine's mom is alive. But Gary said that Jasmine's side of the family is crazy as hell. So does that mean I feel like Andi is signing up for more than she bargained for. Like she's like, I ain't having no kids no time soon. But what about Gary's kids? Again, there are just so many things that just seem weird. But then again, why would we be surprised that Tyler hasn't shown Gary's kids when in the Oval, or even in the Oval, we haven't seen the vice president, and the haves and the have-nots, we haven't seen Charles's running mate. So I just feel like the kids are just a non-factor. Speaking of kids, I'd much rather just say that why not see Gary's kids and Sisters as opposed to Philip and Sandra on Assisted Living, a show where I feel like the younger characters really don't fit the tone of that respective series. So I just feel like Andi and Gary getting married is a huge mistake. As much as I think a big wedding would lead to a lot of hijinks, I think that these two would be more likely to just elope. Like, let's say if something happens to Gary, like let's say if Jasmine tries to go after him, he gets hurt or whatever, I could see Andi being emotionally distraught, and it's like, I want to marry you before I lose you. And then they get married on the spot. Like, they get somebody who's ordained, and boom, they get married right there. That's what I think. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And like I said, kind of go, I hate where I try to end the video, but then I think of something else to mention, but I had to say it. What if it turns out after they quote unquote get married, turns out Gary lied about Jasmine signing the document, so he's still technically married to her. So then the marriage with Gary isn't valid. I believe it's annulled. So Andi's going to look stupid. Well, even more stupid than she does now. But let's talk about it in the comment section. And if you would like to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App. Biggest question I have for everybody, where the hell is Miss Lisa when you need her?